righty, it is 5:31 and I will call the meeting to order. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty then, so we have an appointment at 5:35. Greg, are you guys ready to go? Or do you, oh wait, it's a public hearing, never mind, you gotta wait 3 more minutes. Do you have anything for us?
No,
No?
nothing to go over real quick with. Sorry.
Okay, then we'll just sit here till 5:35. I wouldn't want to violate the terms of the posting.
Where is the small meeting room?
Where's what?
In the senior center.
Oh, because it says large meeting. Where's the small meeting room? Could be in the closet. It might have been that at one point. It's small.
Chris, where is the small meeting room?
It's usually upstairs.
That's upstairs?
Oh, the one in your
My
office?
office. We use this as small.
Oh, I
We
would
have
call
that,
town
we've done that in the
administrator's
past.
office. One more minute, Rick.
I have 5:35.
I have 5:35 too. Rick, would you like to read the posting for us?
Sure. Town of Granby, notice of public hearing, Granby Select Board, tax classification. The Select Board will hold a public hearing on Monday, December 20th, 2021 at 5:35 p.m. at 10B West State Street, COA Building, to decide whether or not all classes of property should be taxed at the same rate.
Alrighty, Mr. Leonard. Are you ready?
Well, good evening. The chairman of the Board of Assessors this year is my good friend, Bill Porter.
Hello, Mr. Porter.
May I sit closer to
You most definitely may sit closer.
I want to be able to hear them.
No, I'd have made you sit in the back.
Okay, I'll go.
No, you can stay, Mr. Porter. Come right
over
up.
here to the camera.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you need the table? Because we can bring the table over if you need that.
You
I
need to
guess
take,
I'm
yeah.
assuming that you've read the letter that we sent to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so the other thing I really want to, what I really want to talk about is the page that came with it. I think you have this.
Yep.
Yep.
We recommend a single tax rate, and because of the last paragraph in the letter, changing the tax rate, it does not really help homeowners very much. If you would look at this, and I realize it's not done on yours, But if you go down to where it says 105, which is a 5% shift in the tax rate, and then go across, you're going to see that that's a 9-cent difference in the tax rate for homeowners. And so not a 9-cent difference in the tax rate, and the average home is $293,000. It makes a $26 difference in their tax bill of over $6,000. So I consider that pretty minimal.
Yeah.
And the opposite is true if you do it with the commercial. Commercial tax rate on that same line, you'll see it goes
That's all I got.
up 95 cents. And the average commercial property is worth $347,000. So that makes an increase in their property taxes of over $300 just with a 5% shift. That $300 is not on that page, but that's doing some math from the 95 cents.
Okay.
And it just keeps multiplying if you go to 10% or 15%. And so that's why we are recommending a single tax rate. Going back to this letter, I can give you some more information that's actually not in the letter. This year, the average home was $293,388. Last year was $274,223. The $274,223 is not in the letter, but just for comparison. And basically that's because all homes, as you know, are going up in value based upon what they're selling for. And so this is an average of just 2020. That doesn't even include anything that's happened this year. All these data points are ending December 31st. And the mid-range value in Granby is lower than the average. And the reason is because we have a high concentration of homes that are in the $200,000 to $225,000. So the mid-range is 263 compared to the average of 293. And last year, the mid-range was 246,850. So that has gone up too. All homes have gone up. It's just the higher end ones have gone up more. Maintaining a single rate would be a $19.06 per thousand tax rate. This past year, as you probably know, it was $19.85. And the reason the rate has gone down is because there's more value to be taxed.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
So,
I'm a little,
here, let me take my mask
No
off.
problem.
It'll help a little bit easier.
thank you.
So my question is, and I definitely understand that due to the high residential amounts in town, that it doesn't make sense. Do we have an idea of what the ratio of residential to commercial industrial personal property would be before it would benefit us? Is it more of a 50-50 split?
I'm not sure I can answer that question specifically.
Okay.
I can just give you examples.
Okay.
Other towns around here, even towns that are bigger than us, like South Hadley and Belchertown, they have a single tax rate because they really do not have much commercial and industrial. And changing the tax rate really negatively affects commercial and industrial thinking of being in town. Where if you go to the cities, Holyoke, Chicopee, West Springfield, they do have a split tax rate. But it's just, there's so much more commercial property there than there is in a town like Granby. On this page that we're looking at with the yellow, up in the top left-hand corner, 91.58% of the taxable property in Granby is residential.
Is residential.
That's very high.
Right.
The commercial, industrial, and personal property is 8.41. That's why there's such a difference there, at 9 cents to 95 cents. It's about a 10-to-1 ratio, and this is just about a 10-to-1 ratio. So it makes sense if you think about it.
Okay.
But that's not answering your question directly.
No, and I mean, I honestly didn't know if there was a direct answer to my question. I just I know people have talked about it in the past, and, you know, the answers that we've seen is that it's not beneficial to us, it doesn't make sense, but I've seen people ask, when would it make sense? So, I thought that I would ask that, and so I have one more question.
Jen, can I interrupt 1 sec?
You can always interrupt.
You could probably go out on the DOR website and look at the municipal data bank, and out there, it gives the tax rates, if it's a single rate or a split rate, and it gives the amount of values in the various categories. So you could probably pick the first one with the lowest percentage and then look and see what that percentage is. That would give you an idea.
Okay, I'll do that, just for
And if
curiosity's
you can't
sake.
find it, let me know and I can go out and look it up for you.
Right, yeah, I will take a look at that this week. So my second question, and I just want to clarify for people, so the rate you're proposing has decreased from last year. However, assessed values seem to have gone up, so most homeowners can expect their tax bill to increase?
Yes, I'm sure that will go up slightly.
Okay, I just wanted to make
I don't
sure.
want to mislead people on that.
Well, yeah, I wanted to make sure that was understood as well. Okay, thank you.
And partly the reason they're going up is because everybody's value has gone up. Because we all know our homes are worth more now than they were a year ago.
Right. Okay.
And the increase is we don't estimate what the increase in the home is. Basically, we actually calculate it from the homes that are actually sold. And that's how we determine what percentage to go up.
Okay, thank you.
Can you do me a favor, can you explain for the people watching, or people that may watch, because I think a lot of people don't understand as far as how the assessed values work and when, you know, properties, you know, some people's property may go up this year, or your taxes may go up this year, and then someone else's goes up next year. Some people don't understand how it works and how it's split in the town, how each year it's a different section.
Glenn, if you're asking me a question, I'm sorry I didn't catch it. If you're just making a statement, that's fine.
No, I was asking the question, if you could explain so people understand how it works, how we assess the value of people's houses. People have asked before, they don't understand why their property value kind of went up this year, but someone else's didn't. Or their taxes went up this year, but someone else's didn't nearly as much. And then they find out like the year later, their taxes seem to go up even more.
Let me try and answer it, and if I'm not answering the question,
Yeah.
ask it again. There are years when, if you can think back to 10 or 12, 14 years ago, property values went down. You know, in 06, 07, 08, property values went down. The tax rate went up because we had to raise the same amount of money. And so because values are going up, that's why the tax rate can go down. Now, that may not deal with your question, but that just tells you that they don't always go up.
No, I'm referring to when people's homes are assessed in the town. At what time are they assessed? So you don't assess everybody's property the same year.
Say that last phrase again.
Is everybody's property assessed the same every year?
Same
Bill,
time of year?
Bill, what he's trying to ask is, you know how you do 1/6 of the town every year?
Yes, yes, okay, yes.
That's what Glenn is trying to get to, is your value is redetermined by an actual visit every 6 years. So even though we're saying the average value is going up, yours may not go up until 1 year or 2 years or 3 years down the road. Is that what you're getting at, Glenn?
Yes.
Every 6 to 7 years, the state requires us to go out to every home in town. That doesn't mean we go in every home, but it means we need to go out to the home. We have the property card with us, and we look at the property card, and you can see a lot of different things about the home just from walking around, knocking on the door and saying hello to the homeowner. And so we check our property cards every 6 to 7 years with a personal visit to every single home in town. And so that means we do around 300 homes a year. The last 2 years, we haven't done any because of COVID, just for health reasons. There was a very short period of time this summer where the Board of Health said we could do it. And summer is not the best time to do it because we really prefer not to go to homes when children may be there, kids may be there, but the parents are not. That's just asking for problems. So we tend to go in the spring and the fall when children are in school. And so we haven't done that for 2 years. Thank goodness we were ahead by 1 year when COVID came. So we are 1 year behind, approximately. So that's one way we check to make sure what's really going on at every home. The other way is the sales that took place last year, we actually don't do this. We hire a man named Bishop Associates, Roy Bishop out of Agawam. And he comes on and does the math for us. And he computes every single sale that took place, what the sale, make sure it's an arm's length sale. You know, if it's between brother and sister, we can't count it. But if it's an arm's length sale, he computes that sale, what the value was previously, what took place. And we do that for every category of homes, the colonials, capes, ranches, you know, we categorize homes like that. And then from that, determine how much to potentially raise the value of the home, if it's significant enough, even on an interim basis. And we actually did that this past year. We voted to increase values 8% because it was showing that sale prices were actually more than 8%. But we were still within the range that the state allowed us to do. So there's two ways we can, that values go up. One is if we do what's called an interim adjustment. The second is when we go out and do a personal visit, and if there's things there that, let's say there's a deck on the back that they never got a permit for, that's been called cyclical inspection, it just goes on the car. We also do permits every year. Any building permit that's issued, we go out to see if the work was really done. And if it was done, put it on the car. Just because somebody pulled a permit does not mean it automatically goes on the car. Surprisingly, and I don't quite understand why, there are permits every year that are pulled and paid for, but the work's never done. And so we don't put that on the card until we physically go out and look at it.
People could change their mind, or
They could
and
do all
they
kinds
may
of
not have the
things.
money after the fact.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Maybe the estimates came in higher than they thought.
Right.
We have no idea. We don't ask them. We just want to see if it's there or not.
Okay.
But those are good questions. Sorry I didn't understand it clearly.
That's okay.
Thank you.
I have nothing.
You have nothing?
No.
Do you have anything else?
I do not.
Mr. Porter, do you have anything else that you would like to say?
Do I have anything?
Yeah, you're all done?
We just encourage you to vote on the single tax rate.
All right.
I think we've given you the information that we know of, and if you want more information, we can either tell you now or come back to you.
No, perfect, thank you.
Does this come up every year at this time?
Yes, but can you do me one favor, Terry? Could you just state your name and address for the
Terry
cameras?
Johnson, Bachelor Street. Does this come up every year?
This type of hearing?
Yes.
Yes.
For this. I just thought, and I was told two different things. This was a yearly thing, or there were changes in the, you know, in the works.
We set the tax rate every year.
Every year, okay.
And there could be changes too.
Right.
Every year.
There could be changes every year. There usually is changes every year. Does anybody else have anything they would like to say before I close this public hearing? No? Alrighty then, let's consider that public hearing closed.
I think it makes sense. Just keep the rate as a single rate. I mean, there's not enough commercial in town to make a difference. I mean, I wish there was, but you know, reality is there's not. And, you know, when you look at almost 92% of the tax base is residential. I mean, it kind of really speaks for itself. That's really the way it's been for forever.
Ever? No. I, much as I don't want to agree with you, I have to agree with you. I don't want to see us funding this town on the backs of residential taxpayers, but until something else changes, that's what it's going to be. So I would be in agreement with the single tax rate. Your thoughts?
No, it was a good explanation. I was aware of that and how it balanced itself out with the valuations go up, tax rates go down. I think it's appropriate in this case.
Okay, well,
And we do have commercial property, and this is The average is just over $300,000, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
But, I mean, in reality, the commercial is being paid too, and I think as Mr. Porter stated too, South Hadley and, surrounding towns are the same thing. We're not a city where you have
Yeah.
a lot of commercial property, like Holyoke or Springfield or West Springfield, so on and so forth, where you actually would notice the difference and where they can actually absorb the cost on the other end too.
Right, because there's more of them to split it. I got that. All right, well, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept the
Down-
single taxpayer rate.
Of 19.06,
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
right at the bottom.
Yeah, recommend, I make a motion that we accept the Board Assessor's recommendation of a single taxpayer rate of 1906 per thousand for the fiscal year 2022.
I'll second Rick's motion.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
So a single rate of $19.06 it is. Thank you, Mr. Porter.
Before you guys leave, will you be submitting the tax rate recap
When
to
did we
the
sign?
DOR? Okay.
No, this is the Board of Assessors. This is just their letter to us.
Well, no, I asked the question. That's okay. Okay, that's fine.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank
Have a
you,
good night.
Mr.
Happy
Leonard.
holidays. Have a good night. You too.
See you, Dakota.
All right, so I guess all of our citizens left, so there's no citizens' participation. What have you got for us for correspondence?
Very little correspondence going on, to be honest with you. Just a notification of the proceedings going on in bankruptcy court for Community Eco Power. And the only reason we're being notified is because that's where we bring our trash to.
Oh, okay.
Actually, that's the burner, that's the trash burner down in Agawam.
Yep.
Community Eco Power, so. And I have made sure that our town council has been apprised, just in case we have to file any type of documents or whatever.
Yep. Now,
Does that affect us?
I was gonna say, does that affect us since it's through Waste Management?
I mean, it could if they can't operate, and then
Yes.
that could,
Yeah, that 5-year contract for trash removal could affect us, yes.
yeah.
Okay.
Is there any expectation that, one way or the other, that it will affect us or not?
I don't think it will. Our town council doesn't seem to think it will. So, but you never know.
Okay.
I mean, until it does, I guess we just sit and wait.
Most likely they're gonna stick around or someone else is gonna buy them out.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
The only other good news, though, is that for our recyclables, we were expecting to have to pay for disposing at the Springfield Materials Recycling Facility. However, the market has picked up on recyclables, and we've been getting money in on a monthly basis instead of having to pay out. So
So that's a good,
that's a good
do
thing.
we know how much we've brought in?
Not off the top of my head, I don't.
Okay.
If you want, I can have that for the next meeting.
That would be very interesting. That way we can actually, use that as a reach out to make sure that our households are recycling.
Mhm.
Because I know we have said in past meetings that we weren't making anything of it, so I wonder if it just became, especially now that we have the separation, if it's just become easier to throw it in the trash.
I wonder, but I also wonder if with the market is because you can't get the raw materials because of COVID, you know,
Right.
with all the backups, so now everybody's gonna be going to the recyclables instead.
Hey,
It's probably-
let's take it while we can.
Yep,
So, okay, perfect, that's good to know. What else have you got for us? Was that it?
that's pretty much it for correspondence.
Alrighty then. Let's move on to new business, and we have departmental reports. Has everybody had a chance?
I have.
Can I just take a look, make sure there was nothing else? Okay. No, I've got nothing else, but I do have a question that maybe you can answer for us, Chris. And I think it's sad that it's taken me this long to even question it. On the zoning officer's reports, there's a category that says M and there's numbers. What do those numbers actually mean?
Category called what?
There's notes and then there's an M and then there's numbers that go down the column that corresponds to each address. Do you know?
Probably
what
the number
those-
of miles to go there.
Is that what that is? Okay. I always thought it was like a specific code, but then I realized
Because
that
he
it
gets
didn't make
reimbursed for
sense.
mileage. He gets reimbursed for mileage. So he just does it all on one form for you. So-
Okay. I just realized the codes didn't make sense. So I was like, what is that?
Well,
Because
if you think
there's,
about it now, it doesn't make sense, doesn't it?
right, if I think about it now, it makes total sense.
The miles start from here to there.
Alrighty, is there a motion to accept those?
I'll make a motion that we accept the department reports.
I'll second Rick's motion.
Is there any further discussion?
No?
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's talk maintenance warrants.
Okay, you have 3 warrants in front of you. Number 36 dated 12/10/2021 in the amount of $520,919.92. That is a payroll warrant. Warrant number 37 dated 12/10/2021 in the amount of $243,279.45. That's the maintenance warrant that goes along for payroll. Then we have warrant number 38 dated 12/17/2021 in the amount of $273,492.56. And that's a bill paying warrant.
Need a motion, or are you thinking?
No, I need a motion.
Make a motion that we approve and sign the maintenance warrants number 36, 37, and 38.
Is there a second?
I'll second Rick's motion.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Alrighty, so now we have sewer commitment.
Yes, so we have the first half of the
He's still got it.
sewer use billing going out. It's warrant number 22-1. It is to Nicole A. Menard, agent for collection of sewer use fees for Granby in the county of New Hampshire. In the name of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, you are hereby required to collect from the several persons named on the sewer use fee list, herewith committed to you as therein set forth, with interest, the sum total of such list being $114,582.90, the whole amount billed to all persons known to us to be liable for sewer use fees, and you are to pay over said use fees and interest to Stephen R. Nally, Treasurer of the Town of Granby, or to his successor in office, at the times and in the manner provided by General Laws, Chapter 83. Given under this hands this 20th day of December 2021. The issue date will be 12/27/21, and bills will be due by January 26, 2022. And this is for the first half of the year, July 1 through December 31st.
Of course, we don't have that here. Or the common vic?
No, I'm gonna read the
You're
common
gonna
vics
read those,
for you.
okay. Need a motion, Deb?
I have a couple questions first before I make that motion. I know, well, I don't know. Let me just find that email. I believe there was a question about one of the properties in that assessment, having a very low assessment compared to properties of its size. So my question is, how are properties assessed? Are they based on number of bedrooms, on the number of bathrooms?
There has been, well, back
And-
in 1994, when we first started the sewer fees, there was a schedule that was posted on the DEP website. Okay? And based upon different types of categories of business, number of bedrooms, different type of things of that nature. If you had a laundromat, say, in an apartment complex, or you didn't, then what would happen is you would base projected water use on that schedule, okay? One EDU, which is the way we bill it, because we don't meter our water, is 330 gallons per day. So you would take what was at that site, try and figure out what the water usage would be to come up with the number of EDUs to turn around and build it. Someone can come in and challenge it because many public water supplies have to report to DEP their monthly usage. And if you can provide the water readings on a monthly basis from a certified water operator, you can ask the then sitting sewer commissioners, select board members, to reduce the number of EDUs based upon the actual water usage. Because some places put in water conservation measures. And that schedule probably does not take into account all potential water use, water restriction uses or conservation measures that you can put in.
So what would it cost to put in a metering system so that we knew exactly what was being used?
Who's gonna go out and read all the meters?
I haven't decided that yet. That's why I'm asking what it would cost to actually put a system in.
Don't know. I'd have to figure out how many well, you figure you got what, almost 350, 400 connections maybe? So you'd have to turn around and put one on the end of each house.
Right.
And then you'd have to be able to find someone to go around and then read those meters
Can't they
every
do
6
like
months.
the electric meter guys do? They just drive by now and do it on their.
Yeah, but I don't know what those type of meters would
I don't
cost.
either.
Yeah,
I know water, I know a lot of water departments do that too. They just have to drive by.
yeah.
And how often do we reassess something?
Only when someone requests it. They put an application into the Board of Selectmen, and then the board at that point tries to make a determination.
But so the homeowner would or the business owner, homeowner, wherever it's falling, would have to make that request?
So like a homeowner's kids all moved out of their house and now it's just them there, they could come in and ask for.
But the issue is, see, in past boards, we've had people come in and ask for their sewer fees to be abated because they're an elderly couple and they go to Florida for 6 months out of the year. Past boards of selectmen said that's a lifestyle choice.
Correct.
And therefore, the town should not have to be penalized and making other users, making the rate go up due to a life choice. Okay? Because it's there, just like we did with Mr. Darcy. It's there if you want to use it. I'm not using it. It's there if you want to use it. Okay? If you don't want to use it, then we turn around and we remove the connection. That's what you would do.
So here's a hypothetical. no one ever really wants their assessments to go up, right? So hypothetical, you've got a 4-bedroom house. For mother, father, 2 kids. I don't know, something happens and your extended family moves in temporarily. Temporarily turns into going on 10 years. That extended family is another 4 people, so now you have 8 people in the house. Your water usage is probably going up, which means your sewer usage is going up. However, you're not being billed for that increase because, let's face it, who's going to report that they've got more living in there? I wouldn't. I would definitely be the one to be like, oh, no one's here, but I don't think many people are going to volunteer that there's more in the house, or let's just say that work has been done to increase the capacity for water usage, which would then lead to, so I guess we don't have a way to correct what could be construed as an incorrect assessment?
Because we don't meter the actual amount coming out. It's
Oh,
not
that's-
based on gallons coming out. A lot of towns, what they'll do is if there's a water connection, they'll take the water meter
Going in,
readings
because it has to come
and
out.
they'll take it on the winter side. And the reason they use the winter side is in summer,
You're
people
watering
have gardens
lawns.
and pools
Okay.
and things of that nature. A lot of other communities, because they have water going to that same spot, can use that method to calculate out a fee. We don't have that luxury because everybody's on well, or
Right.
99% of the town is on well. Okay? That's the problem we run into, and that's why you use that DEP chart. Yes, are some people probably being overbilled? Yes. Are some people probably being underbilled? Yes. But how are we gonna get the actual use of a house that isn't a public water supply that doesn't have to report to DEP?
Yeah, that's,
Okay?
That is the $1 million question.
That's the problem you run into. Okay? And if we turn around and put meters on every house, and then we have to hire somebody to go and read those meters, that's gonna make those prices jump even more, because now we have another person we have to pay for. And there's gonna be a lot more in-depth calculations that are gonna be required.
because then the person who goes away for 6 months is gonna have like the near zero.
We use the winter readings, they're gone.
Yeah,
They're gone during the winter.
Yeah, well, that's the same, it's the same philosophy as that some people have 2 people in the house, some have 4, some have 6.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
Right.
Like you said, it's just that it's an average cost amongst all of them to pay for the system that's in place.
Because I hear that all the time with people calling up. Well, this house, they have 10 kids. It's just me and my wife in my house. Why am I paying the same EDU rate as they have?
Yeah.
Well, it's the same philosophy with the trash.
Yes, you're right.
I have 2, but why am I paying so much more than the person that has 8? It's a system that's put in place and to try to be as fair as possible.
And
Well,
the only,
the trash is based on home valuation, so,
But the
but,
same thing is, like I said, I have 2 in my house, someone else has 6 in their house, and they have a 5-room ranch, and I have a 3,000 square foot house, and I'm paying all this, and I'm not putting out as much trash. I'm just saying,
No,
it
no.
just comes down to this, it's the fairest.
You can make an
way-
argument either way on it.
It's the
Right.
fairest way to come up with
Yeah.
a way to receive payment, without, like you said, without having some type of a meter system.
right.
On this, that's the point I'm making with the trash, that you look at everything, it's just to
Well, the trash
come
is-
up with a system that
Right.
seems to be,
I guess what I'm
Reasonable
stuck on
people.
is the fact that we don't periodically assess or reassess. Now,
Because they don't have to get, people aren't monitoring what they're bringing, what they're using for water, if they don't have to, on a well.
correct, I understand that, but when I think of this, when I think of the one property specifically in question, given that you said it was 1995-ish,
Just to, on that property you're talking about, in the past, the previous owners did have, water readings, and we did have to give abatements. So if that helps you at all, as much as this person thinks that they owe more, when the previous owners
Okay, and that is my question.
But it's up to that place to give us the meter readings.
So are they still doing that?
No, but apparently the new owners think whatever they're paying is fine. The previous owners had a meter reading all the time, and they got money back.
Now, was this before or after units had been added?
Like within the past 5 years.
Okay. That's my next question.
Yes. So it is accurate, it's probably more expensive, but they're not having a meter reading to see to get any money back.
How much were we abating them? Do we remember?
$1,400 every 6 months, easily.
So basically half of what they were being charged.
Yeah. Okay, for instance, let's use this for Cumberland Farms. They went through and did their renovations. They added booths. Theirs went up because now they have seating. Even though that they are vacant seats 99% of the time. I, per that chart from back in 94, 95, have to now increase their sewer rate based upon having 2 booths or 4 seats or 6 seats or whatever. Okay, those are the problems you run into.
You said that chart was on the DEP website?
It was way back when. I don't know where it is at this point in time.
I'd be interested in seeing what it looks like and how they come to the,
Well, if you want, we'll send you the sewer regulations. It's right inside the sewer regulations.
oh, the chart's there?
Yeah.
Oh, then I can look that up.
All right.
I can do that. I'm not helpless.
No, I'm just saying, we can send it to you if you want.
All right.
There are several businesses besides that one that always put in for AED.
Oh, we know.
Well, I mean, looking through this, it looks like most of the businesses do pay more than the residential.
As they should,
Why? Doesn't mean they can swim more water.
depending on the business, I should say.
Well, yeah, exactly, but that's what I mean, is if you go, it's
It's only on a limited number of households, residential households, right?
What? It's what only
Of
on
the sewer rates. I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
the one
It's
that
only
has
like
sewer.
on, like
Well, the problem
Fifth
is-
Avenue, Leo Drive.
See, the problem is we have 3 rates,
Yeah.
okay? First rate
Yeah.
are the people who border the town of South Hadley because their pipe goes through their backyard and connects to the South Hadley system. We only charge them what South Hadley charges us. They're called the 5194 units. It's 47 connections. Then we have our community systems. That is a separate rate because that doesn't go to South Hadley to be processed. It goes to a community septic system that we pump out every so often. I believe that's about another 40 or 50 units. Then the majority are the Five Corners and those type of ones, 202, Five Corners, Pleasant Street, Amherst Street.
Yeah.
The ones that you're talking about on some of those. Those, that gets sent to South Hadley, so we have to include the cost of our pump stations, the maintenance of all that, in addition to what we're being charged by South Hadley for processing per EDU. Okay? It just becomes a very complicated process, because when we were talking about connecting to Belchertown for the other end of town, that was gonna be a 4th rate we were gonna end up doing. We talked about taking New Ludlow Road and connecting it to Chicopee, and having Chicopee process the waste. That would have been a 5th rate. Okay? It just becomes very, very complicated when you start trying to figure out what you need to do. At some point, this board may want to look at a blended rate somehow and try and figure that out to try and make it easier. Don't know. You know, we could run all different type of scenarios that we want, if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But this was something put in place back in '94. DEP had no issue with it. The then sitting board felt that was the best way to do it. I haven't seen any reason to question their logic and how they went about developing the system.
Well, the only thing that I'm going to say to that is not to be argumentative, but if they saw fit to do it in 1994, I think it's about time a board looked at it again to see if it is still, A, fair, B, equitable, and C, proper. I mean, 1994 to now 2021.
So you're gonna look at hiring an engineering firm to
22.
come in and make that determination?
I didn't
'Cause
say
I don't
this
have the
board.
expertise, because I don't have the expertise.
I
to do
didn't say
that.
this board, I said it's time a board looks into it, whether that's something, it's a discussion that we start having, because I honestly don't think that the town has the funds to do that right now. But if it's a conversation that needs to start being had now to prepare people,
It would be charged to the sewer user fees, rates, or if you hire an engineering firm to come in and do it, it's a sewer thing, so it would have to be paid through sewer user fees.
I'm just saying, 1994, 2021, it's time to take a look at things again. Otherwise, we're gonna have no progress anywhere.
I don't know, I think we've been doing well with what we've been doing with our system. We just had those units that decided to connect on Cold Hill Road. That's gonna add 8 more connections, once it's done, once they're connected and inspected by David.
Right, they'll add 8 more connections, they'll fill up a little bit faster. David will have to empty them faster.
No, that's going to South Hadley. That's gonna be
The
the
Cold
5
Hill one's
corners.
going into South Hadley?
Yes,
Come down the
Cold
hill.
Hill Road,
Down- Oh, it's
yes.
because it's coming down high, okay,
Goes down and connects on the pipe on Pleasant Street
okay.
there.
That's the
Okay?
South Hadley one.
So, but I'm just saying is, there are people who are still looking to connect to the system,
Well, I-
because, to be honest with you, it's better to be connected to the system, because when you go to sell your house, there's no Title V.
There's no Title V, and let's face it, people have run out of room for leach fields.
Right.
So having a system they could connect to is beneficial. I definitely think that is the case. But I still believe that even if we find that there is nothing different that could or should be done, I definitely think that at least every 2 decades or so, we should be looking at the things that we've been doing to make sure they're still pertinent.
I think that's a logical step going into the future. I'm fine with leaving it right where it is right now. But like you said, Jen, a board in the future will have to look at it, whether it's us or the next one down the line.
Right, but I think a conversation needs to be started so that it's not an out-of-the-blue suggestion, because if the conversation doesn't get started now, the next time that it gets brought up, it's going to be an out-of-the-blue suggestion that'll get kicked down the road for
But
the
if-
next.
If this board is talking about it, then this board just act on it.
Well, this board may not have time to act on it.
This board has time to act on it, because this board can make decisions that, if we want to start the process, to look at it, just make sure that it is the best system in place right now, to be charging people and be fair across the board. Because if not, like you said, we can say push this off to another board, that the board may say, well, no, we don't want to take any action,
Yeah,
we want to push it off
down
another.
further down the line.
So if this board is saying, look, gee, we believe we should do something, then we should do something.
I believe we should start the conversation.
We're having a conversation, we just need to take some action. Because the next board may not want to take action.
Okay, I guess when I
That's all
say
I'm
the
saying.
next board, okay, so when I say the next board, let's face it, nothing runs quickly in terms of these types of things. So the next board could potentially be a different board than what this is.
Yes.
So this board cannot promise to take action on it.
Sure you could.
Sure we can.
Half
If you-
of
if
this
you-
board,
if you
2/3
start-
of this board
If
could.
you started the process, you hired an engineering firm to come in and start looking at the current system
Correct.
The next board would say it changes between now and when their study is done. The next board looks at the results of what this board has initiated, and they make the decision at that point in time.
So the next board would make a decision.
But this board can start the process.
Start the process.
I don't have a
please.
problem starting the process, but I don't want people to think that we're gonna finish it, because this board may not
Well,
finish it.
Okay, so I look at as not this board, but the select board in
The
general.
sewer
The
commissioner,
sewer commission, because that's what we're acting as, the sewer commissioner, is looking at it and deciding what to do now. So that's always gonna be in place.
Okay, if you're looking at it as the sewer commissioners,
Well, that's who has the power to do it, not the select board.
well, but that's this board. When I say this board, I'm looking at what we're meeting.
I have no problem if we want to start it, looking into it.
Okay, then I say we start that look. I say we figure out how much it's going to cost us for an engineering study
Yep.
and start from there.
Because it's not feasible to have it, it's gonna cost people X more dollars.
Correct.
For us to do a.
Correct. I mean, if that
Yeah,
study's gonna run us,
right.
you know,
That's
$5 million,
right.
500,000, it's not worth it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
If that study can be done relatively,
just start and look at it.
okay.
Ready for motion on that?
I'm ready for a motion on that now. Now
Okay.
that I caused all that
I make a
problem.
motion that we approve and sign the sewer commitment number 22-01.
Is there a second?
I'll second Rick's motion.
Would anybody like to add any more discussion to that one?
No.
No, please don't. Okay. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we have common vics.
you ready?
Yes.
Okay, you have common victualer's license number 22-05, fee $25. Something Special Catering Service, 181 West State Street, Granby, Mass. 01033, expires December 31st, 2022. Number 22-06, fee $25. Five Corner Cuts, LLC, 77 West State Street, Granby, Mass. 01033, expires December 31st, 2022. Number 22-07, fee $25. Cynthia Maloney, doing business as Cindy's Drive-In, 455 East State Street, Granby, Mass. 01033, expires December 31st, 2022. Number 22-08, fee $25. Fairview Sportsman's Fish and Game Association, Inc., 280 Carver Street, Granby, Mass. 01033, expires December 31st, 2022. 22-09, fee $25. David Kaskeski, doing business as Dave's Natural Garden, 35 Amherst Street, Granby, Mass. 01033, expiring December 31st, 2022. And number 22-10, fee waived. Charter Day Committee, 32 Kendall Street, Granby, Mass. 01033, expiring December 31st, 2022.
Ready for motion?
Yep, I am.
Make a motion that we approve and sign the common victual license number 2205, 2206, 2207, 2208, 2209, and 2210, all expiring on 12/31/2022.
I'll second Rick's motion.
Is there any further discussion?
Nope.
I would just like to remind it that 2210 had the fee waived, so that was the only thing that was not specified in the motion, so I would just like to make that clear. Other Other than that, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Bring them up here, Chris.
Yeah,
Glenn has
Glenn
them.
has them.
Glenn has
This
them.
one has them.
You want me to start the entertainment ones, or?
Can you listen and sign at the same time, or do you want to wait?
I can listen and sign.
What?
I can listen and sign, yes.
All right, you can go.
We have the following entertainment licenses. Number 22-02. It says a fee of $50, but I believe we're going to want to waive it. It's for the Charter Days of Town of Granby, 32 Kendall Street, Granby, Mass. 01033. The entertainment license to provide entertainment to customers as follows. Live entertainment consisting of karaoke, DJ, or bands to be held in the gazebo during Charter Days on June 10th, 11th, and 12th, 2022, located at 32 Kendall Street, Dufresne Park, Granby, Mass. Also oxen, truck, and tractor pulls. And this expires June 10th through 12th, 2022. Then we have entertainment license number 22-03, fee $50 for ACM Inc., doing business as Cindy's Drive-In, 455 East State Street, Granby, Mass. 01033, to provide entertainment to customers as follows. Live music, first Saturday of every month for classic car shows, to be located at 455 East State Street, Granby, Mass. Expires December 31st, 2022.
Just those two?
Just those two.
All right. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve and sign 2022 entertainment license number 22-02, expiring on 6/12/2022. And number 22-03, expiring on 12/31/2022.
And I recommended we waive
I
the
was-
fee for the Granby Charter Days, which is 2202.
I was going to say, can we amend that to waive the fee on 2202?
Yes.
Would you like to
Yep.
re-motion that?
On the entertainment, yeah, I'll bring a motion to waive that fee on number 22-02, which is expiring on 6/12/22, that we waive the $50 fee.
I'll second Rick's motion.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
While we're signing, Chris, do you have anything for us under old or any other?
The board had signed a letter to the Water District Commissioners last meeting. We still have not heard back from them regarding a proposed meeting date. Glenn, you wanted to know the status of the project at the Dufresne Park. We have still we have taken down trees that were needed to be taken down. That's been completed. We were originally going to redo the pavilion, but the windstorm helped us with that one by having insurance pay for the construction of a new pavilion and picnic tables. We still have issues with the gazebo. We have to do some repairs to the flooring and replace all the steps going around the gazebo. They're starting to get a little punky in the wood and time to replace. We have been working on the corrals taking the wood down, scraping and repainting. We got corral number 2 done completely. Corral number 1 is in the process of being slowly taken apart and repainted. We still have issues with the drainage over by the playground area. The swale, I think, has to be dug out again a little bit to allow the water to flow in a proper manner to get it away from that area. The area just outside the dog park has been completed, I believe. It's been re-landscaped, and we contributed, I think, a load of stone towards that to help eliminate the, how do I call it, the gouging from the water coming off of the trail and off of the hill right next to it. And the other issue we have to address at some point is possibly paving the Taylor Street entrance coming in. And I don't have a final price on that one either, because every year we're constantly regrading that in the spring and probably a couple times over the summer. Due to the fact-
Sorry,
Go ahead.
how far are we planning on paving it in?
Well, that's part of the question is do we pave it all the way down to about where the dog park turns in? Or do we go further to try and maybe create a parking area to keep people off the grass and create like a paved parking area for people, or a crushed stone or something of that nature?
I think, it's better paving all the way in, because wherever you stop with that pavement, the water that comes in is still coming in, and it's gonna end up.
Well,
right
if we
there.
can direct it to the swale, if we get the swale working,
put
then
it out of
maybe
the-
we may be able to
Yeah.
not have to go all the way.
Right, but with pavement, there's no absorption in the water, and, at least now there's some, even though it's making,
No, they make permeable.
Made what?
Yeah, so if you go to the old Northampton State School,
Yeah.
the sidewalks are permeable pavement, asphalt, I don't know what it is, but the sidewalks are permeable, so water can actually drip through. So it doesn't run off.
I've never heard that, but
It's really cool. I got out of the car the other day because I saw the
Sounds
sign and I was
expensive.
walking on it. It does sound expensive, but,
it probably is.
but there is a way to do it, so we don't
Right.
have the runoff.
well, that's what I'm just saying.
I mean, I don't know how long it
it's
lasts.
Just to pave it all the way down, that's all.
But part of the problem I have is, as for our MS4 permit, okay, that we file with the EPA, we had Dufresne Park looked at, and for all the work that they suggested we do for stormwater runoff was $430,000 to do all the work that they were recommending, which had to be paving, I believe, all the way up to the pond itself, putting in proper culverts and drainage and the whole 9 yards. And there was a couple other items that they wanted us to do, and the estimate was $430,000.
Now, is that suggested due or mandate due?
Suggested.
Okay,
Wasn't mandated,
okay.
but as every year, we're supposed to try and do something for stormwater management. And one of the items we looked at was Dufresne Park, because we know that that needs a lot of work for stormwater management.
Frankly, I think if we pave it past the playground area, I think you're asking some issues on the runoff. Cars
Yes.
parking on it, oil coming out of the cars, draining into that swale, and working their way to the pond. I don't think any of us want that to happen.
See, and that's the problem we're having, but what happens is people park on the grass. Grass will retard the water from gouging out and creating its deep
Right.
ruts in the area. So
What
that's
about
been
the-
suggested to try and get it so that people don't park on the grass, and we can get grass to help us naturally to contain the water and the damage from the water.
Yeah, the problem I see going in there is you got people gonna go to the horse shows at the park, and the parents are gonna go to the park, the playground area, I mean.
Right. But it's just trying to figure out what we want to do.
Where do you wanna create?
Because I'm going to be honest with you, whether we pave it or whether we put crushed stone or we leave it natural, cars are going to drip oil no matter what,
Right.
and it's going to go into the ground. Okay? it's just the nature of the beast. But if we can
Yeah.
try and
Prevent
put
it from
stone or something that maybe we could remove every now and then or whatever, I don't know. And then the other issue is, does this board, it was brought up about inspections of the playground structures. When I had run it by council, there's nothing in the state law that requires a municipality to inspect the structure on an annual basis, or every other year, like it is required of schools and daycare centers.
Jeremy researched that, he came up with a company that had the cost for inspection.
Right. Town council
Yeah.
recommended we do it on a set basis, 5 years, 10 years, whatever this board wants. Okay? The board, I don't think, ever gave an answer as to how often we want that structures inspected. Then there's the issue of the mulch underneath. When he was looking at it, he did rake it to try and even it out, but does this board want to add additional mulch? Because mulch can be expensive.
Well, one, I think we need to know what regulations are. There have to be regulations, whether they're school regulations or not. I mean, I'm sure they're going to differ, but there's got to be some sort of, whether it's per state or even from our insurance company.
I don't think our insurance company really will get into that. They'll just reference us to something else.
Okay, well, maybe they can reference us to where we need to find that information, because I would hate for us to have, 2 inches less than we're supposed to have, and someone
Well, the-
gets hurt, and,
There is a formula that they consider what to be suitable for,
right, so do we know what that is?
And there's, yeah, a special kind of,
yeah, it's not hard to, it's, you can figure out what it is, you just have to have someone you'd have to take the square footage of the playground area, and they tell you, what the thickness of the mulch should be. If it's, whether it's 3 inches, 4 inches, 6 inches after compaction. There's a formula to it that people use, so it's a certain amount, so it's enough padding, if you will, as far as.
is there a special kind of mulch you gotta buy for a playground? So that's why the
Yes.
cost is extra expensive, okay. Just can't go to your local garden center,
You just can't use wood mulch
No.
or any of that type of stuff. No, it has to be special.
special mulch.
However, if there needs to be some added, then we need to add it. That's all.
Right.
So getting back to the inspection thing, that playground is getting on in years. I think it should be looked at, whether we said, I would say every 5 years or something like that.
Do we remember?
I know we talked.
What the cost
yearly,
was?
We didn't know. I think we were all just
Jeremy-
guessing.
No, Jeremy sent
Jeremy
the cost.
sent it to us. I don't know if it was in this.
I'd have to go back and look at the emails.
Yeah, I
to be
remember
honest
seeing
with
the
you.
email and the cost it was. I
Yeah.
think if it's something that's reasonable, we look at what they have for it, they may have 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, something like that. We see, what we consider to be reasonable for us to pay, then we should look at doing that,
So then that'll begs the next question on my part. If a piece of equipment is found to be failing, is this town gonna fund for replacement of playground equipment?
I think that's up to the Friends of Dufresne Park. I mean, are they the ones who originally had it built, or was that a town funded?
Nope, that was Friends of Dufresne Park. Because we can follow all the regulations, but then all of a sudden,
We gotta,
something fails.
yeah.
Our answer would be to pull it. Okay?
Well, yeah, because absolutely, it's
Okay?
liability. If it's
But
broke,
are we then gonna be responsible for replacing it?
That's right. And granted, the people outside of Granby who use that park, but the majority of the people that do use it are from Granby and pay taxes, and I think it's their tax money that would go to,
Fixing,
fixing
replacing.
it. I mean, I don't have a problem with someone's tax money going towards something that taxpayers are using.
So maybe it's a fund that needs to be set up and annually something gets diverted to it. Or it gets, I shouldn't say diverted, it gets budgeted for.
But I'm just saying is,
Right.
you have to plan for those type of eventualities
Right.
also.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, I do, I agree with Glenn in that it is, the majority of it is taxpayers. And we can't keep fixing things in town off of private groups and donations. Like, there comes a point where it sucks, and I hate to say it, but we've got to take responsibility for what's going on in the town. And if we have to put aside money to plan for that, then that's what we do. We're good at that. We like putting money aside. That's what we do. We don't like spending it.
And I would say if the Friends
Let's
of
start.
Dufresne Park can have fundraisers to help out the town, that would be awesome also.
I don't even know if they're still,
I don't think there is.
I think they have disbanded.
And then the final topic was that $75,000 for dredging of Dufresne Park.
That was the study, correct?
That was for engineering fees only,
Okay.
okay? And to also sample the silt to see if it's considered hazardous waste, or if it can be dredged and then brought to a place so it can dewater. Because you just can't take that silt, bring it somewheres and lay it down. It has to be put somewhere so it fully dewaters, and then you can move it to spots. Now, the problem is under Chapter 30B Rules and Regulations. If the design/engineering fees, estimated fees, are $30,000 or more, and the estimated construction cost is more than $300,000, we then have to follow another procedure under, I think it's Mass General Law, Chapter 7A, in where we have to put out an RFP for engineering services, who will then write the specs to bid out for the construction services.
So the first study, that 75,000 is for what again?
Engineering fees only.
That's them to draw up a plan on the.
That would be for them to look at the site, draw up specs, and I think it had to do with submitting or developing the application for us to be able to do the construction work and get the proper permits. I think that's what the 75,000 was for. Then, the next phase, once they get all that, would be another fee for them to develop the construction specs and to probably do the clerk of works for it, to make sure that whoever the construction firm is does it according to the specs.
So if that $75,000 that the town appropriated to do the first study is spent, we gotta go to the town again for anything else.
Or we're just wasting that 75,000.
Correct. And the problem is for dredging operations, you're probably talking between $500,000 and $750,000 to dredge.
Do we know of any towns around here that have done dredging operations in the past 5 years or so?
When did East Hampton do theirs?
I don't know. I
Oh, for the
think it was longer than 5 ago, but I don't know.
Because they use the Army Corps of Engineers, so I don't know if we would have to get a hold of them for them to come in and try and, if we have to get them involved or any of that stuff, that who we probably hire.
Maybe that's something to reach out to East Hampton and ask who they used and what they did and
And
when
that
it
was under the old mayor, so I don't know how long the new mayor has been in there.
I don't either.
That was Michael Tozniak, I
New
think
mayor,
it
I
was under.
think she's on her second term now.
There's
So
two
it'd be
after
more
that.
than 5 years, yeah.
I mean, I'm guessing really that I just wondering if we can reach out to fairly local communities to see if we can get an idea of what it costs them to do the dredging.
I don't know who does dredging.
I don't either. But I'm pretty sure that, you know, a private pond being dredged versus a municipal pond being dredged are gonna be two different costs.
Because we have to pay posted wage, no matter what.
Right.
Well, again, it'd be good to, you know, we can get a rough estimate. I know you said between 500 and 725,000. Because, you know, as Jen said, if we reach out to the county of Hampton and ask them, you know, how long ago they had and who they used, maybe we can just get some more information on it.
Simply because, I mean, this piece right here has been a massive hot button. And I think we need to have as much factual information as we can to go back to the voters and say, look, we can still do this, but if we do this, then we are 95% likely to be on the hook for this amount of money, or we've wasted this. Or, you know, vice versa. We need to do this so that we can do this. It's going to cost us this. I think they need to know the information before we spend that money. I get that it was voted for. I 100% get they voted to spend this money, but I don't think that we all understood what we were voting for, which is, again, that's a voter issue. Understand the issues, because I didn't understand it. I thought it was something different when I voted, so there's that. I think I would just like this answer to the if-then. I'll make that easy. Easier?
Chris, you get a chance, can you just kind of like formulate all this on like a document for us? And kind of show us where, like, I think you referenced chapter 30 and chapter 7A.
That's
the-
master in the law. It's just all master in the laws.
I know what they're called, but you can reference that and then you break it down to us, so we have this, a document to kind of really look at. And I'm just thinking that moving forward so that this board has the information, but also, you know, so we have other people that will take part in the Parks Committee. You know, we're gonna have some information to pass along to them. I guess, you know, the way I look at it right now, we're almost acting as like the Parks Committee.
Right, because we don't have
We
them.
don't have one in place right now, so I like to do I like to get as much information together so we can, you know, when we have someone that is interested in doing it, that wants to do it, we can provide them with information that, here, these are some of the things that are going on right now, these are some of the things that we're looking at, here are some of the challenges that we're gonna face going forward.
Something that you didn't mention, going back to Dufresne's, guardrails.
Because we never talked about guardrails.
Yes, we did. And that's why we have boulders there. And the
We
boulders.
talked about gates. Okay? I remember us talking about gates, and the issue we had with the gates was because people currently pull the boulders out of the way or pull the telephone poles out of the way. If we install gates, we feel that they're just going to destroy the gates so that they can go where they want to go.
We had discussed, and when we were waiting on more poles to be delivered.
And chances are you're not going to be able to get the poles.
And two, we were waiting on Dave because Jeremy was not able to use the equipment to get the posts drilled into the ground. That's when the idea of the boulders was formulated to be brought over, which I maybe wrongly assumed was a temporary stopgate until we could get the permanent structure, meaning the posts sunk and up. Was I incorrect?
I know no, you're correct, but before we talked about, because I remember bringing up the telephone poles, and I think they're hard to get right now.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
We were
That
short
was-
like
yeah,
10 or
that was
so.
the thing, they're hard to get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't know, have we gotten any more? Okay, so how many do we have to?
We're discussing to do the same thing
I'm sorry, what, Kathy?
You were discussing doing the same thing as at Brown Ellison.
Yes, just like at Brown
It's
Ellison.
not the guardrails, it's the.
Telephone poles. But I remember-
They're guardrails to
Just
me, you
posts.
can't go past
Yeah.
them.
But I remember talking about the telephone poles and they weren't anything available, they were expensive to get.
Right, I thought we were on the list for National Grid when they switched over, but
How big the pole's gotta be?
just the number,
Whatever a telephone pole
whatever
is.
telephone pole is.
Yeah, how far?
Somebody's
you
gonna have
sink
to
'em
cut
into
'em
the
to
ground
lay.
and then cut them.
But given
10
the
feet?
fact,
I don't remember.
didn't
how big
National
it is.
Grid just move?
Cause I got 2 10
Or were they
footers.
adding one of our last hearings? Was it they were moving them or adding them?
What, the rocks?
No, telephone poles. Because if they're adding them, I mean, if they're moving them,
I remember
they
that.
generally
I thought
put
they
the new
were-
one
I
up
thought
before
they
they
were moving
take the
from
old one down.
One section to another section.
So why didn't we get those?
Because isn't some of it because it's the chemicals that are in them, and that's why they're changing them too?
No, this one they were moving for access.
Yeah, had access to the property.
Trying to think of which one of our hearings it was, but it was access for the it was weird. But it was
We didn't
okay.
ask for it.
What the heck?
The next time the lady's in, you may want to ask, can we get telephone poles? I don't
I
know.
can send an email to Lisa.
Yeah, when we send an email,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, can you do that?
Yeah.
And ask her to keep us on a list when they have poles that come down? Because again, those boulders aren't doing
Well,
anything.
what I mean, I.
They're not even boulders.
Yeah,
I've
the
seen
big
some
rocks.
areas of towns that, I mean, cost-wise, don't get up what it costs. But they use like the, like 6x6 or 8x8 timbers that they have, it's a wooden guardrail,
Mm-hmm.
but it's, the timbers are in the ground and they take the, I don't know, they may be 2x12s or something
Have you tried getting lumber at a lumberyard?
It's coming down in price, but it's still hard to get good straight pieces.
Well, you don't need it for.
I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
You know what I'm saying?
The
I've
eight
seen those,
by
like
eight,
that.
the 8x8 square poles,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
eight
the one
by-
in there,
And
they
they
run
mount
with the-
guardrail on top of the
Yeah.
wooden poles,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
A lot of the smaller communities do that in the back roads.
Yeah, that's us, small community.
Small community.
Yeah, but we don't have back roads.
We're almost all back roads, except for this main strip here.
I think East Street is a major road.
116 is a major road.
116, the road is a speedway on occasion.
Just because
All
it's a
depends where you're from, who you
speedway
talk to, what a back road is.
doesn't mean it's not a back road.
All right.
But that's the status you asked for.
Yeah, yep.
Okay? Just so you know.
All right.
And then the other issue is at the last, was it at the last meeting or after the last meeting? Rick presented you with a proposed new fire chief advertisement to be put out to different a couple of the same and then a couple of different ones.
Do we have those,
To what?
the sites?
One was Western Mass Chiefs of Police, one was New England Chiefs of Police, one was the Massachusetts Chiefs of Police,
Well, police chiefs, why not fire?
or Fire Chiefs, I'm sorry. And then I think you wanted to advertise again on that national website. I
The
believe.
Massachusetts Municipal.
Oh, MMA?
Yep. The only other one than that is the New England Association of Fire Chiefs. Do you need a copy of this?
Yeah, I'll need a copy. And can I just get a copy of the ad too, because what you sent me doesn't print out.
Yeah.
What was our current chief, the stop date? What do we go as far?
February 28th. Thank you.
Rick, do you have a copy?
Okay.
Do you have a copy of the one that you had given us last time?
No. Not on.
Because this is the same one.
Oh, this is the one you gave.
No.
Yeah. I just copied it.
Let me see.
It's the same thing.
Let me see. No, this is the old one.
That's the old one. Yeah, I got an old copy.
This is the new one.
A little thing to switch.
Is that the old one or the new one?
That's the old one. And I'm like, this does not look right. This looks like what you gave us.
Let me see what Chris has said.
I think it'll probably be the old one. I'll keep this one.
No, this is the new one. Right?
That is a new one.
That's the new one.
Thank you.
Sorry, I didn't mean to yell at you.
That was Ellen?
We can just send it again, Rick.
That was irritation, sorry.
Want me to try sending it again?
Yeah, because we try opening up the attachment and it just won't open.
Yeah.
So what's different in this one versus the old one?
You want the old one to compare it?
Well, so we just highlight what it was?
I believe mostly grammatical. I don't think there was any core substance stuff, like all,
Nothing changed in the qualifications?
yeah, qualifications I don't believe changed. Looking at it very quickly, I think it was just grammatical because I had noticed some grammatical errors.
Let me ask, is there any place in town where someone can live that's not within 5 miles of a public safety center?
That touches,
Harris Street? Is that Harris Street maybe?
Well, why are we just requiring someone to live in town? Why do they have to be so many miles from a public safety center?
to get somebody to move up here to find it opens up their choices of housing, affordable housing. And on this one, here's the old one, I think it has the, trying to find that.
But the way I put out, so we just,
Yeah,
there's parts of Granby where someone wouldn't be within 5 miles from the,
From the station.
right.
Now, can I ask why we are reposting this? What did we have for responses?
There's not enough candidates.
That's what I'm
You
asking.
wanted-
What did we
You
have?
wanted 3.
How many did we have?
Two so far that passed the rubrics.
What were the rubrics that they were passing?
Don't have
I don't
those
think,
on
I
me.
don't think he can give you that right now.
Okay.
Because the screening committee is private, and if he starts talking about procedures that they're using, it now becomes public knowledge.
True, you're right.
If we're gonna repost it, I would just recommend that, I know the order before in the last one, I probably didn't think much of it then, but I think it should be, residency should be a town resident or live within 5 miles of the public safety center.
Huh?
It just if there's somewhere where someone can live in this town that's more than 5 miles from the safety center, then that's a concern. That's not,
Is there anything outside of town that is within 5 miles of the public safety?
I think he's asking, is there anything inside of town that's within?
inside Granby, is there anything?
No, you're saying a Granby resident or within 5 miles.
Well, it says, right now, it says they have to live within 5 miles of the public safety complex.
Right.
So my question was, if someone lives 6 miles from the public safety center, but they live in Granby,
But if you're just saying a Granby resident, okay, is there any non-resident towns that are within 5 miles of the public safety? I don't think there is.
I have no
If they
idea.
want to live in South Hadley, if they want to live in Ludlow, if they want to live in Belchertown.
Belchertown. That's
Okay.
all within the
Within
5
5
miles.
miles from the safety center?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Parts of it are, yeah.
There's parts of South Hadley that's 2.5 miles away from the safety center. We're up on the other side of Cold Hill.
that's within 5?
Yeah.
So it's 2 miles from here to the annex.
Right, I mean, that's 5 miles is a lot. But my question was, I think it should just say residency as a town resident or within 5 miles from the public safety complex. Just include all of Granby, but if it originally says already you have to live, you have to live within 5 miles. I prefer our fire chief to be a town resident, but.
How long are you going to advertise?
To the end, I think January 31st.
No, I want to advertise until it's filled. So keep them coming on an ongoing basis. Otherwise, we're going to have to keep reposting this, and I'm not,
You have to have it, well, you have to
I'm
have
not
anything so
done with-
people know when they should have their application and.
So Glenn, you want to eliminate, you want them in the town?
I would prefer to have our fire chief live in town. That's up to the rest of the board. And if the rest of the board doesn't feel that way, I'm okay with it as well. However, I just think it should, the posting for the position.
What was it for the last couple chiefs that we had here? Was it a residence requirement to live in town?
Police chief it was, right?
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to think.
I don't think there is a residency requirement.
Russ
No.
Anderson
Yes?
originally was in Southwick.
Southwick.
He
I think there was
required
a
to
mile
move into town.
requirement, a distance requirement.
I think it was within 25 miles or something like that.
Yeah,
Well,
it was a response time,
It's not
I
in our
should
last
say.
chief's contract.
I think it was a response time.
We don't put it in the contract, but for the advertisement, we usually try and put within so many minutes travel time or something like that.
Yeah.
If we're going to advertise that, why isn't it in the contract?
Doesn't need to be.
Chris, what is the limit to be on the golf course? How many? is it-
Well,
Oh,
To
God.
his-
Should be,
To his point, it should be, because you could live in town and get the job and then move out.
Then move
of town.
out, exactly. That's my whole point.
No, yeah,
I forget.
point taken.
I agree, I'm just saying it's not required to be. But yeah, I was under the impression that it was a response time from something I read.
It is. I think, like I said, I think we, if you're going to be on the golf course, you have to be, you can only, you want to apply, you have to be within so much of.
Yeah, it is, but I don't know it off the top of my head.
Which I mean, like I said, I can see both sides of it.
I mean, I would prefer that they are a town resident, but to me, it wouldn't be a deal breaker, so,
Well, no, that's the kind of thing, it's like if you have the right person and.
right, it's not a deal breaker to me.
So do you want me to go back to committee and change that?
Yeah, the only thing I'm looking to change, or would it be asking to change, that it does state, residency, as far as living in Granby or within 5 miles from a public safety complex.
You want the words residency in there?
It's in there now.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, oh, you want it, so what do you want in it?
He wants residency
Or?
preferred
Residency preferred?
or within 5 miles of the public safety complex required.
No.
No? That's what it sounded like.
Well, somewhat.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to stick.
I quit.
No, because the topic it all started off was that, is there places in Granby that are not within 5 miles from the safety center?
Well, are you talking
someone
as the
said
crow
yes.
flies or response time? Now, there again is a separate,
Yeah,
Well,
because
that
you're on
doesn't say
Harris
5
Mountain.
miles.
because if you're on Harris, you
But
got,
this doesn't say response time.
that's what, well, this is what I'm saying. If you're talking about that, are we talking miles or response time? Because if you're up on Munson Ridge, you're gonna be hard pressed to get to the safety complex within
Maybe
5
that's something you
minutes.
can negotiate when we get somebody here
So I wonder if we're just now getting too deep into those weeds.
Well,
for their contract.
All I'm asking is to say that there's, just add in Granby.
Or we could take it out totally.
The residency, within 5 miles of the public safety center complex or living in the town of Granby required within 1 year. Simple as that. You're just adding in the word Granby into it. So saying, you know what, there are parts of Granby that you're not within 5 miles, but it's okay.
I pick my battles, that's not one of them, so okay.
Well, it's not a battle, I'm just saying.
No, I'm saying, I pick my battles,
You
that
could-
one's not one of them,
you could-
so
You could hire someone and
I'll agree.
they move to go somewhere and they're not within 5 miles or whatever.
I have a question for this board. Right? When you did the charge to the search committee, did you say you definitely wanted 3 or up to 3? Because if they have 2 candidates now, and they feel that they are qualified for the position, why don't we have them interview, bring them forward if they pass their interview or whatever? And then if they still have 2 candidates, bring them forward, and if that fails, then go out to advertise again.
I'd have to look back because those notes were in a different,
But I'm just
Notebook.
asking that question.
I think we wanted 3.
I think we wanted
Not
3.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, to be fair, I don't know anymore. I think we wanted 3.
I think we posted it, we put out to January 31st. However, in putting out to January 31st, we need to look at the contract for our current chief.
February 28th.
Yeah, because
Right,
we
yeah.
have to extend that.
Right, so that's gonna have to be extended, because they're talking,
And here, you thought this would be a quick process. Okay, let's just go down to this. How much is it gonna cost us to repost all this?
He said close.
MMA will probably be about $200.
Okay,
FCAM is $50, and I don't know about the other 2 because we didn't advertise with them originally.
okay.
Cost us $800 to do, or $750 to do that other one.
So it was $750 last time we
That was
posted?
that nationwide one, the $750, $200 for MMA and $50 for FCAM.
Okay,
yeah, I mean, I think this is why we appointed this search committee. So I think if this is their recommendation, I think it's reasonable. I mean, what we want to do is make sure we have the right person for the job, for the position. So if it takes an extra month, well, it takes an extra month.
I agree, I know, and I agree with that. I guess my question is, and without us having a copy of the original posting, I guess I'm questioning, A, what is different in this posting
I thought this was the original one.
versus, we have the original, Kathy, versus what we posted originally, so are we going to, no, this is the one that they originally gave us.
Oh, okay, this is the change.
This
The
is the.
first draft, yeah.
Right, so I'm
got
talking
you.
about the one
I
we
got
put
it.
out.
Yep, I got you.
To get these candidates, because is there something different in here that not would guarantee us, but would lead us to a different set of candidates, more responsive candidates? Or are we simply just casting our line out into the same fishing hole with the same
Well,
bait?
But, well, things could happen in the workforce in a 2 or 3 month period.
Well, that could always happen, so do we just do this every 3 months until we find someone we like? Our town deserves a
I think this will go out
chief.
more locally.
Well, they've added a couple other venues, if you will.
And
to
that
get
is,
out there.
that is appreciative.
So Glenn, have you come up with your final decision on that residency, or what you want me to bring back to the committee?
Yes.
Go ahead.
What does it say? See if I can find it again. Residency within 5 miles of the public safety complex is required, or a resident of the town of Granby within 1 year of appointment. Or, sorry, residency within 5 miles of the public safety complex, or a resident of the town of Granby is required within 1 year of appointment. Just insert after complex.
Or the resident of the town of Granby.
Yes. Yeah.
Within,
Yep. Is
1 year.
required within 1 year of appointment.
okay. Got it. So some of the guys were talking,
Well, thank you so much.
Much appreciated. I'm sorry I made you go upstairs.
Yeah. I have no idea.
All right.
Well, it's different.
All right, so we added,
the 42, the strong chief line there, I know they added that.
yeah, they added strong chief. It looks like we added a couple of more fields under the bachelor's, but then added closely related discipline. 10 years progressive. All right, they're adding, so you added, oh, we got the supervisory in there. Fire commission, okay. Now, are our postings, are we charged by length or by time run? Or a combination thereof?
Various sites have various rates.
Okay,
For
Is it a-
MMA, it's up to 200 words, and then it goes to another price range.
okay,
It's based upon the number of words in the actual article, or
Okay.
in the actual ad.
I mean, I'm not, I asked the committee to do something, I'm gonna let them go with what they did.
So if that wording is changed, I can get this to Chris and he can get it posted.
Yeah, I don't need, if we're just gonna add in the town of Granby, I'm fine with just from that going out.
And you're okay with the rest?
Yep.
Mhm.
You're okay, Jen, you're okay with what he wants to change to it?
Mhm.
Okay.
It's literally just adding more words. Let's just add to the cost of the ad. I'm fine. Picked the wrong time to quit smoking. All right, so we'll go with that. Make those changes, get them approved. Well, the committee get those changes approved and get it back to Chris, and Chris, you can post it when you get it back. Preferably as soon as you get it back.
And those 4 sites?
If that's what the committee is recommending, we
That's-
post to.
That's what the chiefs that are on the committee recommended, those sites.
So we're going out till the 31st, which means,
MMA may be able to make it for the 31st.
no, we're going out to January 31st.
All I'm saying is the
Wait.
ad may not run by the 31st.
In MMA?
MMA, because I don't know.
Not
when you-
this month, Chris, we're going out to the 31st of January.
He's
Right.
saying it may not make
may
it
not make
into.
it.
May not make it
That far
until,
out? Okay.
may not make the January beacon,
Got it, oh, yeah, because they're doing a month
Oh.
ahead publishing.
okay?
Well, then if it doesn't go in, I guess. I don't know. Or are we gonna push this out to February now?
I'm just putting that out there, because you do have, FCAM, they can put it right up on there the minute they get it.
On their site.
And I'm sure Western Mass Chiefs, and I'm sure New England Association probably can do it the same thing. But MMA, it's based upon when you get it in, on when it can go into the beacon.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what would this board like to do if if we can't get it into that in time? Do we wait?
Has it been in the M&A, M&A?
Yes, it was, that's where I advertised the first one.
So it's already been there. What we're trying to do is really hit the 2 sites.
That we haven't
That
hit
haven't hit
before?
yet.
But right. Again, that was
What do
my
you think?
question.
Going out 2 more weeks?
No, I
February.
don't think we should go out 2 more weeks.
Because I wonder if people are looking, just kind of based off what you were saying earlier, Rick, with the police chief, fire chiefs talking about it. I think if people are looking at the M&A, they're also looking at those other websites as well, if they want to be a fire chief.
Well, the
No?
MMA is the national one, right, Chris?
No,
No.
MMA is a
So
state,
Massachusetts, okay.
that's a state one. Mass Municipal
Yeah,
Association.
we didn't get anybody.
Hmm?
We didn't get anybody.
No.
So talking with the chiefs, they weren't too well aware of it, that it was even out there. So,
They weren't aware that what was out there.
the first posting. That stuff apparently gets. well
Were they
known pretty
looking
fast.
for it, though? I mean, everybody was aware that we were looking for a chief. That was no secret. And forgive me if I
Yeah, but they wait for
sound
the posting, so.
a little
They'll be
hostile
more
right
aware
now, but it was no secret we were looking for a chief. So were people not looking? I mean, in this area, yes, people knew we were looking.
Because I put it on
Surrounding
3, I
towns.
put it on the 3 websites that we talked about.
That's what I mean, our surrounding towns knew that we were
FCAM,
looking for a chief.
MMA.
So to say they didn't
And then
see
we
it.
did that, I forget what
You
the
weren't
third
looking.
one was, the nationwide one. I sent you the name of it, I forget what
You
it
did,
is.
you did.
But it's just my point, I think if someone's looking to be a fire chief in a town or wants to be a fire chief, they're looking at those sites, so.
All right, so change it.
Change it for the residency.
Just add those words.
Mhm.
Like, the quicker it gets back to,
The committee,
I mean,
Chris.
the quicker it gets back to Chris, the better opportunity you have to get it out there.
Let me ask you this question. I know you want Jen, you mentioned open until filled.
Mm-hmm.
We can put that in the ad, we just say applications will start being considered as of a certain date, but it would be open until, we are still accepting applications until it's filled.
That's what I would like to have happen, because I don't,
You
So
understand
take out
what I'm
the-
saying, Glenn? We give them a date, this is when we're gonna start the
so
process.
we're gonna start processing, we may hire
But we'll
before you put
continue
yours
to
in.
keep
but-
accepting them until we fill the position.
Which is great, but at what point do we start doing interviews? And then someone,
At any point during the process, you can do the interview. And if they
So-
get it in after you've started
The select board you're
interviews,
talking about, or
so
us?
be it. But a lot of places are starting to advertise.
but I'm just saying, so the search committee has a direction with the movement, so you have two people that put in for it. Well, they can interview them now, okay, and say, well, you know what, we didn't really like those two.
Glad I can answer that question.
just keep on moving
That's
on.
already in the works to try to set that up. The committee is not sitting on their butts. They want to get it
No
filled.
one said they
want more
were.
Committee, so. When this board gets them is when the committee's going to recommend the 3 people put forward. So whether you guys want to interview them is after we send them to you.
Right, but herein lies our problem, we may not get 3.
Well, that, I don't think you,
What if they get no
you
response?
understand what I said, though.
That is a question, what if we get 0 responses from this, where are we going from here? Let's just think 10 steps ahead here.
Well, that's why I said, if you have a cutoff date, you have a cutoff date, and then we at that
Right, well,
point,
if-
so-
I don't have a problem with the cutoff date. That's,
I'd like us to start interviewing no later than, I gotta look at the calendar.
They've already interviewed.
No,
They're not gonna re-interview those people they've already interviewed.
we didn't interview anybody yet. That's coming up.
I would like interviews to start no later than February 15th. That week. So it could be the 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th. That means by going by this posting, if they're asking, if we change that instead of, we'll start like interviewing processing on that date, we'll still accept something past that. But hopefully by that date here, we will have other candidates that the committee will then have 2 weeks to weed through.
I just don't agree with an open-ended one if it's a certain position. If you're looking for several positions to fill, then I get that open because you keep on looking, but, you're gonna keep on interviewing people? What do
Until you
do
find the
before?
perfect person. Or we keep posting until we find the perfect person. I guess, which way do you want to go?
That's 2 ways of looking at it. I mean, the committee will do whatever you guys want to do, but, we're moving it along as quick as possible. We've got to delay this week because of the holiday.
Right, well, and that, there's been a
We're
couple
meeting right
holidays.
after the holiday.
I just think we set a date, that's an end date, and then if we need to reevaluate it, then we reevaluate at that time.
But can we reevaluate it once we set the end date, or do we have to post out again?
I guess it depends on what we get.
Agree, that's what I'm saying. Maybe I'm not making myself
No, you're
clear.
making yourself clear.
I'm not asking for us to
So
hold.
So you're not gonna, I can tell you that middle of February is probably not realistic to get the final candidates to the board here, because I don't know where they're coming from. It could be local, we could do this. I think more realistic would probably be the end of February.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
They're not gonna get everybody.
Mm-hmm. Have you met me?
Yeah. Too many times.
Exactly, so there you go.
Well, 2 things. To me, I think if we're not okay with an open end, if we're not okay with an end date of January 31st, and you want to have an open-ended date, I still wouldn't recommend that. I would say just extend the end date a month. Because if not, they could interview people, and then someone else puts in a resume and puts everything together, and then say, oh, we're gonna interview this person too, because we haven't picked anybody yet.
Yeah.
It keeps on, they could get an application or someone putting in for the job every week, and they'd have to keep on interviewing people.
Yeah.
Until they've said, okay, well, we're done, just
Yeah,
send these
we
three.
gotta I see what you're saying about the end date, that's why you gotta have one.
It's just, because it's a set position, it's not, you're not interviewing for, we don't have 20 jobs we're open for, so we're just gonna keep on filling. I'd say just extend the posting date out a little bit longer.
All right, if that's the way you want to go, we can definitely go that way, but can we then agree that as of, pick a date, whatever candidates they have, they bring to us. None of this, we're going back out. We owe this town a chief.
Well,
And there's got to be someone that is going to do a good job.
Jen, the problem with
Are we looking
picking
for
a
a
chief
unicorn?
is if you guys don't like who we sent to you, and say, no, you can't do it, then what are we gonna do?
right.
Well, then that's on us.
Then we gotta keep sending them back out interviewing.
But then that's on us. That's on the board.
Yeah.
That's not on, the board waiting for the committee to make a
I
decision.
can tell you pretty confidently, this committee is gonna have a proper candidate to fill this job.
I think they will too. I think that's why we chose this committee, because of their experience and their combined knowledge. And I think they will send us the best of what we get.
Yep.
Rick, what do you like for an end date? Speaking for your committee, what do you like as an end date?
What do you think is
Well,
feasible?
I mean, I was hoping to get it posted this week, but,
That's not gonna happen.
yeah. It could. I'm sure every one of my committee members are watching us right now. If not, they're watching us tomorrow.
So what would you think would be an end date?
Here, there's a
I think the
calendar.
middle of February.
There's a calendar. End date meaning end date for,
All
For people to
applications in.
Submit applications for the position.
Get it to the board, soon thereafter.
I have a
Just-
calendar up for you.
Oh. Except it's the wrong year.
Oh, I must have swiped down when I,
Well, we say Friday, the 11th of February. Right, that gives us an extra
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Well, it gives an extra 11 days. Well, why don't we do it Saturday mail? Why don't we do February 14th?
Done.
Monday the 14th.
February 14th.
So they have to be in this office or postmarked by, take your
Yeah,
pick.
just like last time.
Okay.
Because some people will email it.
The problem you run into postmarked by the 14th is the delay in the mail service could take a week beyond the postmark date.
That's why I was asking, are we saying in this
Yes, we can.
office by the
We've
14th?
had that happen.
Which is fine.
Or postmarked?
Because they're not gonna probably meet to the following week anyway, so that week, that,
All right, but I'm just saying that
yeah.
that does occur.
So just be
And,
postmarked by Monday the 14th.
And I'd say to Chris, as soon as you get them to me to get to the committee, and we'll look over them as we get them. There's a process they set up, so we can get them all set up.
And if one comes in after, 3 days later, 4 days later, a week later, they're not gonna be interviewing by then anyway, so, because they're still gonna review it, I'm sure reviewing them.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
All
So
right.
with that said, I would recommend to this board that we contact our current chief, fire chief, and look at extending her contract.
A recommendation, it's a must-do.
Well, it is, and I don't want to wait till February, I think we have that.
No, we need to do it.
We have that
That's-
conversation now, Just in
Next
case that
meeting.
person doesn't want to do it anymore. Could be a possibility too, so whether it is or not, I don't know, I'm just saying, so we need to act on it now to make sure that we're all set moving forward, because we know this is gonna take longer than the date that we provided her with.
Mhm.
So maybe our next meeting,
The 3rd.
yeah, we look at extending that and look at it, we probably look at a date, all of us from now, well,
Well, can we push, let's go back to that. So can we, and I'm probably just gonna be outvoted because that's the way I've been today, but that's fine. Can we wait until 3rd? What's our next meeting
That'd
after
be
the
the
3rd?
third Tuesday.
Yeah.
17th is a holiday.
So the 18th meeting. That way that gives the committee time to say, because I'd like them to take a look and say, okay, hey, once we get this, we anticipate, I'm not asking for a firm commitment date, but an anticipated date of when they believe they'd be able to get through whatever applications would come in. Let's just go on the high side, say we got 10, how long would it take to process 10? Give us 3. If they say by the end of April,
no, I'm fine with that. I just want to make sure that we let our current chief know.
right, I just don't want to keep extending her contract because we're we're undercutting dates.
Well, in reality, we can give her a contract for 6 months or until the position is filled.
Well, I understand that too,
We've only got to.
but I don't,
Either way, that contract is going to be terminated sooner or later.
correct.
Probably before it expires. So perhaps it may just extend it further than,
Huh?
you know,
Huh? Wait, before it expires?
yeah.
We're not gonna have a new chief before her MOU?
No,
No,
the extension
next
date.
one, the extent.
Oh,
That's why I said you might as well do
oh,
it, you can do it
gotcha.
6 months out.
Okay.
Until.
You could do it to June 30th of 2022.
I gotcha.
Or
Yeah.
upon the,
The
Employment.
employment of the
Yeah.
new chief.
'Cause-
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
I was thinking the February,
Oh.
I'm like, we just talked about this. I know I'm tired,
So you
but
don't
I
have
don't
to,
think I
it's
was
far
that
enough
tired.
out, you don't have to worry about it.
Then we'll just do 6 months out.
Yeah.
I do it June 30th,
That's-
Yeah.
end of the
Yeah.
fiscal year. That's 4
Just
months.
do that, and not have to worry about it, and some,
Is that,
Because it ends February 28th,
so that would be just, okay,
4 additional months.
yeah.
that's fine. If it jinxes us, it jinxes us. I'm fine with that. All right, was there anything else anybody had?
Well, I think you're not voting.
Well, there wasn't really a vote, so. Did I have anything else? Hold on. We're still doing budget review on the 10th and the 12th?
To the best of my knowledge.
Okay, well, I didn't know if anybody was unable to make those dates, and just asking.
Then the budget doesn't get forwarded to the finance committee.
Oh, that's harsh. That's very harsh.
Well, you know what happens if you try and be nice.
You live a happy life?
Yeah.
Right, I'm good.
Madam Chair, anything else?
No.
Then I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn.
I'd like to second your motion. Is there any discussion?
No.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.